Hey, you're watching GEEKCASTER. This is part two of the conversation. We have Drew, we've got Dayveonne, we've got Corey, Michael, and let's go. So we were just talking about, what was it? Companion, Looney Tunes, what was the first one? Invincible.
We didn't talk nearly as much about Invincible as I feel we needed to, but yeah, we did.
Well, what do you think we missed on Invincible? What do you think we missed? I mean, there's a lot going on there.
There was a lot, dude. Yeah, there's
a lot.
Like that itself could be a whole episode. I know we were trying to chop it up and do different segments, but if we're going back for part two on Invincible,
yeah.
Let's see, where do we start? Shout out to the homie Allen. Shout out to the homie Battle Beast. They came in and MVP'd it, I think, that whole thing. Nolan's old sad behind. He was ready to give up. And him and Allen have now become homies. And that fight between him, Allen, Battle Beast, and the two other Viltrumite dudes probably went down as one of my favorite fight scenes in that entire show.
Okay.
Just based on the fact that how it ended. Battle Beast, Allen, Nolan, they're fighting for their lives. They get ejected out into space. That's their last-ditch attempt. These dudes are in the vacuum of space. And Battle Beast is still like, I need more. He kills the Viltrumite and is like, I need more. And when you see him at the end of the season, the dude's just asleep in the void of space. That has to be the toughest dude I've ever seen in a show. That to me, that was like one of the MVP ones. And then maybe like Conquest, the old dude, the old crazy that came in.
Yeah.
Conquest, I think, kind of stole the show. Lots of people were digging him just off that first appearance.
I'm trying to look up, what's that guy's name? Cecil.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, the H. Cecil? Yeah.
Cecil's, that's the one backstory that I really appreciate.
Yep.
That was dope. That was very well written. I really and to see he had a mentor that taught him the hard way.
Nick Fury, and I love, again, it's the little details that I like about the show.
Right.
When Cecil was younger and he was working under that dude, like I always called him like Nick Fury because he had the scar on his eye. You notice the same thing happens every time you're the director of their group. Their leader accumulates like these gnarly facial scars and wounds on their body. That's what the job entails. Cecil lost 80% of his skin during that one mission, right? And the dude says, it's like, look, dude, this job takes it out of you. And rather than just kill off the bad guys, I put them to work.
Right.
I find out I take something broken and I figure out how to make it work for us because there's other stuff out there that we don't know how to take out. Right. We're going to need resources. So I love that. And then Cecil gets his scars. It's just not like passing of the torch comes with your physical scars if you're the leader.
Right.
Still.
Right.
Sick.
Yeah, that was great. No, I mean that was for me. Season 3 was his backstory. Why does he have this approach? Why does he seem so cold? And you realize he wasn't that way, but he got beaten down into basically to carry on that perspective. Because it's just a perspective.
How Mark is when he's younger. And I think that might be the setup, too. To not, like, picking at you, Corey, but, like, to kind of chip at the idea that, it's just done there for no reason. It's like they set up things that they show you later on. I think them showing us how Cecil and Mark were kind of, like, similar in thought when they were younger versus how they are when they get older. That's going to be a thing later. Mark is already on the board of, I'll kill people if I have to. He went from, I'm never going to kill, to, I'll kill people if I have to.
Yeah, but that progression with Cecil and Mark, that's been something each season.
Yeah, and the game hasn't changed. It's each season. They introduce a different yarn that they then pay off in a later season.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
That's going to a future that has nothing to do with, like, the current present is...
you don't know that yet, though.
Yeah, right.
Because also, and I say that, too, because in this future that they went to, it was still Earth. Right? It was still the immortal that we knew back in the previous past. Mark didn't seem like he was evil. And we know that in the world of the multiverse of Invincible, most Marks become evil. So we don't know if this was our timeline. We don't know if this was an adjacent one. But they set it up, so we'll see what happens with that and the twins at a later time, I think. If they never show up again, I'll gladly eat crow. If the show ends and they never again, I'll come on here and be like, yo, you were right with that one, Corey. That was ass. That was nothing. So nothing burger. So, but we'll see.
I think they're going to bring back, until they kill each character off, they're just going to keep bringing random characters back. And it makes sense, right? Because every time you create a character, now you got to copyright that, you got to register that, they got to do the whole business thing to that. So it makes sense for them to milk it for what it's worth until they, totally kill the character. And they got 8 seasons as far as what you're saying, Drew. They're going to milk this out to 8.
They can stretch it out to 8 seasons, and then maybe some like backstory, some like spin-off stuff, if there is anything like that.
Right. But they have enough characters to do that.
They got more than enough characters. And then they got homies they could bring back, like Rex, Rip to the homie. He's probably not going to come back, but if they wanted to bring Rex back, that could be its own thing.
But isn't that going to do the whole series a disservice? Because as of right now, it looks as though it's coming to a close, right? So I don't see it going past 6. And if they stretch it out for an extra 2 seasons, I realistically don't see how you're going to add to that story for an extra 2 seasons. Because I don't want it to fall into the story. I don't want it to fall into the category of it went on too long, or this one season wasn't really needed, where we could have, done more with the show.
Yeah. You mean The Walking Dead?
Yeah, like Walking Dead. Yeah. It's the same guy, Robert Kirkman. But I trust it enough to where I would let it run for 8 seasons and not have a complaint. If it reaches a point where Earth is saved, the multiverse is saved, Mark gets his little happy ending, and it keeps going, I'll be like, all right, this needs to end. But just the same, we don't know what they have planned or what could ultimately... I haven't read the original comic yet. I know folks that have. But apparently they say that so far it's very loyal to the source material. And 8 seasons for them, compared to the complete chronology of the comic book, it seems about right to them. So
that makes sense.
I'll take it on faith that much at least.
All right, so let's talk about this amazing setup called Daredevil Born Again. The very first episode, I was really, really excited of how it was shot, how it was edited. There's a bar scene. I won't give too much away, but I would say that there's a bar scene fight very early on in the very first episode, and you really get a good feel of the chaos because it get this wide shot. So it's almost like you were in the room, and that was great, versus just the quick cutaways, trying to make it bigger what it is and giving me a headache trying to do all that, versus having that reaction to how it was edited versus having a reaction if you were actually there. And I thought that was great.
So when Daredevil first came out on Netflix, they had another great hallway fight scene. And the same guy who did that did this scene. So them bringing him back and a lot of people back from the Netflix era into this era, I think only made sense. So we were only going to get, as great of quality of fight scenes from before as we are getting now. So I just felt like it's just going on par.
What do you think, Drew or Dayveonne?
But besides that, I didn't really feel the rest of the episode. That's just
really interesting. I could see that.
Yeah. I've liked most of it, but there are elements of the show that I don't like. Particularly, they start to show kind of, I think, in episode 4 for me. Particularly, are we all caught up? Did we see the most recent one? Leroy. Do you remember Leroy in this last episode? I had a couple problems with episode 4. And one of the most glaring ones was how they wrote this side character named Leroy, who Matt is supposed to be defending.
Oh, okay.
I get that they try to tell this narrative of being trapped in the system and what it's like being someone who's just caught on the wrong fringes of the law or whatever. But they make this character so unlikable, such a freaking headache. And I'm like, the person who wrote this has never checked out a single episode of The Wire ever. And And naturally, of course, it has to be one of the few black guys we see in the show. Naturally, Leroy is this guy.
I was offended by his existence.
He pisses you off, right? And I'm like, why did they go out of their... I get the idea of the narrative, but why is it that they have to make him so specifically unlikable? And he's a big child. But it tastes good. I stole the candy because it tastes good. I'm like, who? What dip snitter wrote this? I'm trying not to cuss. Like, what wrote this and thought, yeah, this is hitting.
Also, yeah, the way it was written, you thought they were going to go a different way. You thought, oh, maybe he really is innocent.
Yeah.
Right?
He says, well, what if it was a scroll? I'm like, okay, is that what the episode's doing?
Right.
No, he's just a dick.
Right.
But we're supposed to feel sorry for him. Like, stop writing people like this. The writing of that one was not very good.
Yeah, that was terrible.
That was awful. I don't know what... I get what they're trying to do, but they didn't do it well. Whoever wrote that, try to do better.
Right.
Do better.
Yeah, some things you have to pick a side. You got to decide, is a person innocent and then add a bunch of stuff, or they're guilty and add a bunch of stuff. But you can't flip-flop and... No.
Yeah, no, he got his sentence cut down to 10 days, and he was still complaining.
Right. And he was guilty.
And he was guilty of it. He did it. That's the thing that pissed me off. I'm like, but dude, you did it. If he didn't do it, that would have been one thing.
Right.
But he did it. And it was over something stupid, and we're supposed to have this whole moment.
Right.
I just can't deal with it. This happens every time. Like, dude, you did the crime. What is
every
it?
time?
Every time? You had a 22-page worth rap sheet with his woes me? Come on, man. Nah. The crap with Kingpin and his wife, I'm going to let that one play out, but Vanessa is annoying the hell out of me this season.
Mm-hmm.
She's been weird ever since season 3. She came back and she just had this real weird vibe. But they're writing her to be, again, the classic mob boss's wife, where she's innocent, but then she plays the whole thing of, I want to know everything about you. And then he tells her about all the crime time stuff. She wants in, but then betrays him. She's like, now I want the business.
Yeah, but also, how is she...
Where she's suddenly a victim.
But also, how is she going from, like you said, innocence, to now she's a criminal mastermind?
Now she's suddenly a criminal mastermind. I'm like, okay, even if that was the case, she's stark different than who she was in season 1. Because I pay attention, y'all.
Right.
I remember how Vanessa was in season 1. That's how she gets down in season 4 or season 1 of Born Again.
Right.
These are two completely different chicks. I'm okay with that. But the fact is that, unless this is like plot specific and they're planning like for Wilson to be like, I know what you're up to, Vanessa.
Right.
And then he ends her.
Right.
I'm not with it. He can't be simple.
I don't know if you remember Dayveonne, but we've talked in past shows where you will actually, funny enough, maybe even 2 years before that, Drew, you made the same kind of comment, where you get these 90-pound soaking wet characters, tend to be female characters, sometimes male, but tend to be female characters. They start out one way, and then 30 pages into the script, all of a sudden they're a ninja throwing around men that are like 300 pounds, and you can beat everybody up. And now, not to say that cannot happen through years of, but you gotta have the time and the growth and the training. You just can't jump from A to B, and that's what's going on with Vanessa, where it's like she needs more seasons and more experiences to now be a crime genius,
a criminal mastermind boss, and
respected.
Yeah, it's like I would be okay with it if this had been like decades or something.
Exactly.
They've been together for like 10 years, 20 years.
Right.
And she's been with him every step of the way, watching him and like seeing how he gets down. I could buy that.
Mm-hmm.
I ain't got no gripes with that. But it's the idea that this has been a few years and she went from an art dealer to crime boss. That's a stark leap. Even by the bad standard, that's a big leap, dude. Okay.
I don't know. I feel the opposite way, because like, I don't know, this is gonna make me sound like a feminist, I guess, but like how they say women, when they need to evolve and progress, that's what they do. And I want to know the exact time between season 3 Echo, all the other seasons until now, I feel like it's been a few years for her to establish herself as that way. Are we not considering that aspect of it? Or is it
She's on a
just
hidden island getting banged by some guy named Adam, getting mojitos and stuff served to her. But yeah, maybe she might have had a little training arc where she learned how to be a criminal mastermind on the side. Sure. Maybe. Big ask of the audience, but I'm like, all right, but if they're going to take the time and show that, cool. Because then we flash forward to the present, where Fitz is beating Adam in a cage, and then he goes and eats raviolis. Did we see this?
Yes, we did.
Yo! Well, please don't kill Adam. I'm not going to kill him. And then they flash forward to the end of the episode. This dude's eating a big old plate of pasta, and he's got this dude wrecked, rough, in a cage. Please let me out, Wilson. Please let me out. Dang. We knew something was going on because his knuckles were all bloody. But I'm like, man, I thought that he just beat him to death. You got this man in a cage? Born again. Let's go. Okay.
Let's go. I mean, we're all waiting for Wilson to crack. I mean, it's just, what is it going to take?
I got to see the fallout. I'm going to let it play out. Not discrediting your point, Corey. It could be. We could go that route. I would like to, if anything, if we have to do this with Vanessa, I would like them to go back. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't have to be a whole meet cute romance thing with Adam. I don't give a crap about that. Just show me the exact moment that Vanessa realized, I want to be on that crime time too. And when she decided that she was going to, what rigor she decided to throw herself in to become like Wilson. Did she analyze his records? Did she just talk to the dude a lot? What was that arc like?
Right.
And then we'll see.
Because she mentioned something about that when they had their first talk in episode 1, right? I don't remember what exactly she said.
About the other guy in the ascot? Who bought her entire, what was it? He bought like an entire art gallery's worth of stuff just to impress her.
Yeah.
And apparently,
I it was discussed. I don't remember.
It was so early on, one of those early conversations where there's hints that she may have known other guys of wealth and power, but apparently she just didn't end up with those guys until Wilson came along.
What did you think about how they did Froggy's character?
How they did my boy Fowl? Y'all go first. I'm talking too much.
I mean, that's not too much of a spoiler, but I'll just say it the way I said it, and if people want to watch it, they can check that out. But from the very beginning of the episode 1, it was like, really? That was quick.
Yeah.
It was good though, because it meant something.
Yeah.
It was significant. That whole opening was intense.
Yeah.
I gotta say, it had a very strong opening episode. I think that the characters came in, they're still themselves. It's still the same timeline.
Right.
But to open up big by killing Foggy off like that, and then Karen's kind of been like, I thought she'd be a little more involved this season, but she kind of is there, and she's gone. Right. But it was a big move.
That was a very interesting strategic move to do that. I'm glad that those actors got a check. They didn't just continue like they didn't exist.
Yeah, I think that's kind of foul. It's like, oh man, it's so great to be back on set. It's so great to meet all these castmates, and then gone.
Right.
My dude is gone. Episode 1.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think the women. It's very interesting. The women. Well, it's Vanessa and who's the woman that Matt is dating?
Oh, the therapist. She's that's going to be a thing too that they have to pay off still.
Right. I think the demise of both of those women are going to turn break these two men.
That's usually what it is with these guys, man. That's the thing. It's what I call Simp's disease. You suffer from Simp's disease, and that's what usually ends up being the Achilles heel. It's certainly Wilson's. Wilson is like, he's one of the roughest dudes. Mind you, this is the same guy that we know from season 1 of Daredevil, way back when, decapitated a dude with a car door. But he's in couples therapy talking about his feelings. and eating like omelets with one asparagus next to it. I'm like, yeah, it's an interesting thing to try and put your villain on that type of like tightrope where he's trying to be a good person and trying to redeem himself. But after a point, what's your weaknesses? What's your vice? His vice is his business. His weakness is his woman, because of course. So, and when the woman betrays you, it's kind of like, ooh, now we got some drama.
And we all know.
That brings me back to Echo. Like, what happened in Echo to him?
I didn't watch Echo, so I couldn't tell you. But
apparently, that's also in the storyline too. So
she shot him in the eye, right?
But she did something else to him, and I don't know what exactly. It's never explained what she does to him.
I guess I don't know.
Well, she tried to kill him, and that
broke him. Wanted to kill
him
at one point. Yeah.
Yeah, but then she summoned like the ancestral power and heal him somehow.
Did she? I don't remember that. For some reason, I remember him attacking him and trying to kill him. Echo was pretty good, by the way. I mean, there were some scenes where I think they went too far trying to. We get it, ancestors. We get it. We get it. We get it. Stop. Whoever the artistic director, you went too far trying to prove your point. You could have kept it simple. But the actress was great. The fighting was great. It was good to see a lead character with disabilities kicking some butt. So I think that's great, especially for all the kids out there with disabilities, and stuff like that. But, wow, Corey, I forgot all about Echo. Thank you for even bringing that up. I appreciate you. I forgot about it. It wasn't that I mean, even though it was pleasurable, there were definitely moments and choreography, and it was good to see, again, diversity, if you want to say that, blah, blah, blah. It felt good, but it wasn't, it was like fast food. I got it. It serves its purpose, but I kept it moving.
I only paid attention because Fisk was in it.
There you go.
So that's why I'm like, I remember something happened to him.
Last Echo Fist thing I remembered, it was in Hawkeye. She shot him in the eye once she realized that he was involved with, I guess, her circumstance or whatever it is that made Echo.
Killed her dad.
Killed her dad, whatever it was. And then I'm like, Echo's getting a show, and then I tuned out.
Wow.
Okay.
Well, do you guys feel that Daredevil Born Again will end up feeling, this season will end up feeling like fast food? Where it was like, or do you think it's going to feel like a well-cooked meal by the end of the season?
It depends on what they're going to do for us in the latter half. Because we're at episode 4 now. I'm not sure how many they have planned for the season. But we're about halfway through it, I think.
Most likely 8.
Isn't Thunderbolt supposed to happen right after the show?
Apparently. I don't know. I'm out of whack with the timeline, but apparently this happens I know this is after blip-ish incidents. Yeah. So, and it's after Hawkeye and Echo and all that other stuff. So it's pretty much more current in the MCU timeline. But yeah, after that, I don't know. We'll have to see.
Dayveonne, did you see Daredevil?
A little bit, not the whole episode.
Oh, we've been screwing up for you this whole time. I'm sorry, dude. I wish you said something. I would have shut up. Damn.
No, it's okay because I don't have Disney Plus or any of the platforms now because things happen.
There's ways around that. I hear you.
Gotcha. I hear you. I hear you. Man. I mean, the way things are going, we might be like, hey, there's a movie out. We didn't see it. So, because these prices are insane. These prices are insane. I have Hulu now only because, my phone company wants to be like, hey, we hooked you up. I was like, yeah, after my Netflix bill went up how many times within a year? It's better give me something.
Yeah, it's increased across the board. It's nuts because if you're someone who has multiple subscriptions, you realize now they can up your chart, your fees, multiple times in a year for every subscription that you have. Yeah. Hulu, Netflix, Crunchyroll. It's like, oh god, you're taking your chances.
So who out there has all the streaming services? There's no way you're gonna have Netflix, Prime, Peacock. Who has all these services at once?
They got bundles, but at that point, we're just back in cable again. We're just going to run the cable again, where you got channels. It's just now streaming services. So
Right.
Way more than cable.
Shot. Pick the ones that you like, and then just rock with those.
And then what makes it really bad is that you're still at the same place with the commercials.
Yep. You still have ads, which suck. I mean, well, not for all of them. Not for all of them.
If you pay extra, that's the thing. You got to pay more not to get the ads.
They play the con where, if you do get ads, but hey, if you want to pay X amount more, then you don't have to deal with it. We won't be in your face as much.
Oh, so it starts off low because right now it's 3, but more people sign up, it's 5, and then it's just capitalism going more and more and more.
Capitalism, doing its thing. Capitalism doing its thing. Yeah, pick the ones that you like, y'all, and then issue the rest.
So, any predictions before the end of the season with Daredevil born again?
He might. Well, when I say he, Wilson might kill Vanessa. He might. I say this because the whole idea is, I'm going to even equate this to Penguin because this is kind of a similar thing. Mm-hmm. The arc is when you're following the villain, right? It's the villain's weakness and the villain's vice. Okay, Vanessa is Wilson's weakness. The only way for him to go back, and the whole thing is born again, it's the facade of how you want to change, but how you actually are on the inside. If Wilson is going to go back to square one villain, that's going to require him to get rid of his weakness, right? That need to be like of the people and stuff, that's cool and all. But if it's going to be this kingpin thing and it's a fight between him and Vanessa, he's going to take her out. He's going to have to take her out.
What if
he's going to take her out?
I see it as them separating and becoming 2 different factions. It's going to be...
That's the very nice, cushy way. The faction that she did within a few years, right, under his wing with his resources, so they get a divorce and they're going to split the criminal shit 50-50. I don't think so. That's not how crime works, dog. It's you're not going to take half my stuff. For me doing all the dirt and all the blood that's on my hands, I'm going to just do the 50-50 split.
No.
To Penguin's point, he'd rather kill Victor than split it with him.
Right.
You're a weakness. I need to get you. As much as we love Victor and Penguin, he took him out because that was dog messed up.
Yeah, that was messed up.
That was messed up. But it's like, again, that moment where it's like he has to choose between the villainship or this bond with this other character. Lots of times, they're just going to end it. So I'm thinking they might do that. They might not. I don't know. But we'll have to see.
When he killed Victor, man.
That was rough, man.
That was rough.
You suck, Penguin. I was yelling at my TV when that happened. That
was painful. Just the fact you mentioned it, I feel a little bit.
That's the point. And I'm not saying that like it's going to be as emotional. If Wilson did kill Vanessa, there'd be like some emotion in it. But I think it boiled down to the idea of, look, I let you in. I trusted you with this whole empire, and his whole thing is betrayal, right? Remember when he's freaking out how he can't trust people?
Right.
Okay, if that's pushed to the boiling point with his own wife, you don't think he's going to kill her? You don't think he would?
Right.
It'd be the villain thing to do. It'd be kind of like, oh man, that's Kingpin, that's evil. That's what supervillains do.
Right.
But I don't think he's going to do it based on the fact that the presidency. I mean, is it the mayor? The mayor, the whole mayor.
Yeah, he's mayor right now.
I don't think he's going to do it now, but I think it's going to lead to that. That's why I'm saying this season, I can see them going at odds.
Right. He could, at the very least, if they're planning multiple seasons, they may set the tone for it. There may be like a moment where, my theory was this: Vanessa sent Bullseye to kill Foggy. That was her. When Wilson finds out,
because he said it wasn't him. Because Wilson said it wasn't him.
Wilson said it wasn't him. We thought, okay, he's either lying or he didn't. In which case, who was the other person that Bullseye was closest to? It was Vanessa.
Wow.
So I think that hit was her. And when he finds out, dude, that was you, he's going to kind of be like, you're kind of stirring the pot. I don't like that. And that's going to be where that contention kind of starts.
Interesting. Wow.
That's just my theory. I'm on the soapbox for this. I know.
Right. And I thought they were going to kill Bullseye, but I was like, no. At first, when he fell, I was like, they can't kill him.
I thought that was it, right? He's like, oh, it was. He threw him off the thing. I'm like, dang, they killed off Bullseye too, but no, he's alive.
Right.
They got to have them fight more.
Right.
We got to have them go down more.
Right. A little more.
At least a little bit more.